Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to another amazing episode. I'm Maria and today I am here with another amazing guest with us. Her name is Gretchen Rowe. She's a founder of Peace Camp International and retired teacher from Seattle, Washington, USA. Our interview is going live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So, without wasting time, let's welcome our guest and let's explore her journey. Hello, ma'am, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Good morning. How are you?
Good, I'm good. Good morning and have a great day.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for joining. First of all, I would like to request you please introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Gretchen Rowe, and like you said, I'm a retired teacher and the founder of Peace Camp International out of Interfaith Community Sanctuary in Ballard, Seattle, Washington.
And thank you so much. So, first of all, please tell us what inspired you to become a teacher in the first place.
I think that the main inspiration is that I've always liked working with kids, and also there are many reasons. Another reason that I haven't stated in another podcast is that when I was a student, sometimes I would feel like if I didn't understand a certain subject or something or whatever is being taught, I would feel like I was stupid and that everybody knew it except for me. And so that was one of my inspirations to become a teacher, that I wanted to um, be able to help and guide students through the learning process and help them understand themselves as a learner and help them believe in themselves, that they can do something even though they think that they can't, or and that to help them see the light in themselves.
Thank you so much for your amazing answer. Can you share any childhood experience that shape your journey of peace and helping others?
Um, I think in school when I was young, I I didn't like when I saw like a student picking on another student, and I tended to be someone who would stand up for the one who was being picked on, and I just didn't like bullies very much, and um, tried to help the what we say underdog, the person who's being picked on. Um, and I was saying this to someone else that I uh, I'm very sensitive when I see people's faces. Like if someone looks like hurt or distraught, I feel it inside of me, and I want to help them. So I don't like to see other people get hurt either emotionally or physically. And I think I was sensitive to that as a child. And also, I'm a middle child in my family, so maybe being the peacemaker in the family.
Who has had most significant impact on your life and why?
Um, that's a difficult question now. A lot of people, in my journey, have had a significant impact. Probably the number one person is probably my mom. And my mom is a very kind, helping, loving person. And she like always thinks of other people first. Um, and she doesn't say bad things about people. She just has a really good heart. Um, and then I had teachers and coaches. I was involved in sports when I was young, and I had some coaches that were really um, motivational for me. They one in particular, he always used the sport as, a metaphor for life. And if you work hard here, you work hard in life, and you're dedicated. And so I learned a lot from him. And then I had some teachers in college that were motivational, inspirational, and now um, I have spiritual teachers who are motivational and inspirational, and my friends. So it just keeps growing. It keeps I like to be around people who are positive and who I can learn from and all of that.
I thank you. Could you please tell us about your favorite sports?
My favorite sport? Probably my favorite sport is probably basketball. Um, I don't know. Do you have that in Pakistan?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, basketball. When I was in high school, I played volleyball, basketball, and then I ran track. But I also like tennis and um, soccer, football, and um, when I was younger, I liked skateboarding and surfing.
Did you always dream of becoming educator and global peace advocate as you are right now?
Um, I think so. My mom kept a picture that I drew when I was 5, and it was a picture of myself, and it said, "I wanna be a teacher when I grow up." And I know that I wanted to be someone. I used to wanna work for UNICEF to, help children around the world and in peace and that, but I didn't really know how to do that. Um, and I like working with children. I think on a day-to-day basis so you can get to know them and really have an impact in their lives, a positive impact in their lives.
That's amazing. What values were most important in your upbringing?
Um, Probably the one I remember the most, is never lie, don't lie, um, and be kind to others and don't gossip. Don't talk behind people's back, um, and be respectful.
That's amazing advices, I think. And I think everyone must follow these instructions in their life. What do you miss most about teaching in your elementary schools?
I miss the youthful energy of the kids, and I also miss my colleagues. Um, teachers are I think teachers are fun to be around, and usually not everybody, but most often people have a good sense of humor and we can laugh a lot, and so I miss that, and I miss the energy. Even when I would go to school and I would feel tired, but the minute I saw the kids, they're so happy and, um, they bring me energy.
Have you meet up with those colleagues right now in weekends or whenever you have some free time?
Can you repeat that? Have I what?
Have you meet up right now with these colleagues or friends in
Oh,
your
yeah.
weekends on whenever you have some time?
Yeah, actually, I had to leave teaching because I got cancer. So, I'm home a lot, and so they come over and they visit me, and, um, we go on walks together. So, yeah, we still keep in touch, which is very important, especially for me right now.
Yes. How has your teaching philosophy evolved over the years?
Um, hmm, how has it evolved? Well, I've had to, um, probably the most I've had to integrate technology um, into my teaching because we're kind of forced. They keep bringing new things in. So the use of technology has been something, um, and learning how to balance that with, um, the traditional parts of education that I think are important for kids and the development of their brains. Um, so yeah, probably the use of technology and integrating that in my teaching and how to use it with the curriculum.
Okay. Can you share any memorable story of your student that impact your life?
Um, let's see. I shared one yesterday. Let's see if I can find a different one. Um, oh, uh, I okay. This is I had a student he was very difficult. He was very young. It was when I was teaching first grade, which is like 6-year-olds, and he his family had a lot of problems. His parents were getting a divorce, and um, he just had a lot of anger. Like he came to school every morning angry, and so one day he came into the classroom, and when the kids would come in the classroom, we would meet in a circle so we could all like get together and say good morning to each other in a circle. So the kids and I was trying to finish getting our science set up all done. It was with fish organisms. So I was trying to actually, some of the fish had died. So I was trying to take dead fish out before the kids saw them. So the kids were coming in, they were sitting in their circle, and this one boy, I'll call him what name? I'll call him Mike. He came in and he just said, he yelled a bad word. I won't say the word, but he yelled a bad word. And the rest of the kids were like, ah, and they looked at me and I said, Mike. And he said, what? And I said, um, oh, he said, I know what he said, what? That's what my dad always says. And I said, well, do you like it when your dad says that? No. And so, quickly, I did think quick on my feet because if I met anger with anger, it would have just exploded the whole moment. So I said, do you like it when your dad says that? And he said, no. And so I said to the other kids, I said, raise your hand if you also don't like hearing that word. And so, of course, all the hands went up. And so I said, Mike, I said, look around. Your classmates also don't like to hear that word. And then he kind of like woke up out of his anger and he said, oh, sorry. So I was, whew, because he could be so volatile that if I didn't handle the situation correctly, it just would have exploded. So we made it through.
That's amazing story. How do you define success in teaching?
Um, that's a good question. Um, I find when the when the classroom is humming, the kids are everybody's focused, they're doing their work, and it has a nice peaceful feeling. Um, and it seems like everybody's happy and they're just doing their work. That to me is a success. that the level of difficulty is right at the right pace for everyone. And some people might have, it's not too hard, but it's hard enough that they might have a question here and there, but they still have the confidence that they can meet the challenge.
What was biggest challenge you faced as a teacher?
Um, I think the biggest challenge was when I had a parent who was um, I had a student who came to my classroom late in the school year, and she had been to, like, I think at least 4 different schools. She was only in 1st grade, so she was young. So she had been to, like, 4 different schools before she came to our school, and she was a very difficult student. She would, like, just leave the classroom. She'd just get up and leave. She had all this energy. It was like having a toddler in my classroom, and, um it was towards the end of the school year, and we were going on a field trip, and I told her mother that this girl couldn't go on the field trip unless her mother went with her because she would run off, and I didn't wanna have something happen to her. So the mother said that she would go on the field trip with us, and then when the day of the field trip came, the mother said, "I can't go on the field trip," and she gave her some homeopathic um, medicine to calm her down, which we can't give kids medicine at school without the nurse has to do it, and the nurse can only do it with the doctor's permission. So I had to make a big decision that not to let this girl go on the field trip. And I knew the mother would be angry with me. She was kind of not a steady person. So before we left for the field trip, I went up to the principal's office and I said, "Just so you know, I'm not letting this girl go on the field trip because of this, this, and this." And sure enough, the mother at the next day, she left me, I don't know how many voicemails on my phone. She said she was gonna sue me, and she called the office, and she said she was gonna sue the school, all these things. But I was I didn't care because if something would have happened to her daughter for her erratic behavior, I would have been in way bigger trouble than having a mother threaten me. So that was one of my most difficult moments. Usually the difficult moments are with the parents.
And that's so true. What inspired you to create Peace International Camp?
I wanted to, have a place in our in I think probably most cities in the US, but in Seattle, there the kids, they go to school, then many go to after school programs, and then they might have like dance class or a sports. They do this, they do this, they do this, they do this. There's always a program, and not. I felt like a lot of free time was maybe on with a electronic device or something. So I wanted to create a space where um, it was, and also um, many. I I don't think I think for Seattle, many people don't go to church. It's not a very religious city, and which is okay. But I found, and when I was teaching, the way the kids would move in the classroom would be like a sports field, and I was constantly having to teach them, walk and treat this with respect, this with respect. And so I wanted to Interfaith Community Sanctuary it's a non-denominational place, and people bring their own religion or spirituality to it. And so I wanted to have a space where I could have kids together and they would learn to be in like a sacred space, because if you learn that, then you know what's outside is inside, then you're honoring your own sacred space inside. And I also wanted a, a place where they could have free time together. We have our set programs that we do, but we also have there's a lot of free time for the kids just to interact and play games together. It's not, okay, now we're going to do this, and now we're going to do this, and now we're going to do this. So I feel like good, sincere relationships develop when kids are left to play with by themselves, and creativity can come forward. So that was my basically my inspiration.
Okay. How does Peace Camp connect children from US, Uganda, and India?
The well, the we don't have the children. We have the adults from Uganda come,
Okay.
and then an adults from India come. And I guess the way it would impact the children in Uganda and India is that those counselors then go home and bring stories and different activities that we've done at Peace Camp to their communities. And in Uganda, they have a peace camp also, and in India, they have a youth camp. Um, they don't call it peace camp, and they integrate some things that they do there. I mean, we kind of share like some of the things they do in India, they bring to peace camp here. Some of the things they do in Uganda, they bring here. It's kind of back and forth. So it's really a nice. I call it United Village.
What is most powerful transformation you have witnessed through camp?
Oh, that's a good question. I think what I'm what I feel really happy about and um, inspired is that a lot of kids come back year after year, and we have um, a group of I think four or five teenagers who have been coming to peace camp since they were like 8, and they've stayed with it. And you know, a couple of them are counselors now, and the ones that aren't counselors still want to come and be part of it. So I find that very inspirational, and um, uh, it validates that what we're doing is good.
What differences and similarities do you observe from children from various countries?
Let's see. I think um, the what I notice is like from going to India and Uganda, and one year we had a group of kids from Japan come. Um, American kids seem to be more kind of loud and outgoing, and um, the in Uganda and India and um, Japan, they're more a little more reserved. Um, like our kids tend to uh, they tend to like go, why do we have to do that? Whereas like someone from Uganda or India or Japan, they wouldn't question the authority, and our kids tend to say their opinion, like, I don't want to do that, I would rather do this. And that actually was for our counselors from Uganda and India, they were shocked at what how some of the kids talked and expressed their opinions.
What are cultural lessons you have learned from working internationally?
Um, I think the big lesson I've learned is to be quiet and just wait and see what happens. Um, I think our culture tends to we tend to be less patient, and we we time is very important to us, and um, and we say why a lot, and why were you late? I want to go here, or we're late. What are we going to do now? And when I go to India and Uganda, I really work hard to be patient and just wait and let things unfold as they're going to unfold, and try not to ask too many questions.
So true. What has been most surprising moment in your global work?
Um, wow. I think the most surprising thing is it's hard work. I thought that, when I was young, you think about, I want to be a peacemaker and help people get along and do this, and you realize that um, it's never ending. Like I've realized that the deeper I go into the work, the deeper I go into myself, and then I meet parts of myself that, like, "Oh, that's not very nice," thought or something, and you think you're a good person, but when you go deeper and deeper, you eventually meet things that you don't like or that you haven't made peace with, and, they're just the challenges are go on, and so it's you learn and you grow, and you have to learning to communicate with, um, people from different cultures, and um, you know, India and Uganda are more of a patriarchal society than our society. I mean, I grew up in a time where um, girls and women were women's rights and all that. So I have a sense of myself that's maybe more than a lot of the women in India or Uganda. I'm not saying all, but so sometimes when I work with the men from those countries, sometimes we can what we say butt heads. We can go, and so it takes talking and understanding. And even though we all speak English, sometimes the words can be misunderstood by how they're used in that
Yes.
country. So
Okay. Someone asked asking a question about your camp. How old were kids in your peace camp? I think.
the kids they range from 5 all the way up to um, like 15. I mean, our counselors are 16 and 17. And then the ones from Uganda they're adults. And then we
From
have something else. I just want to say something else unique about Peace Camp is we have Peace Camp moms. So there's always a
oh,
mom. Yeah,
that's so amazing.
yeah. So
Okay, I hope their answer is kids were from 5 years to 15 years.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, please tell us how do you stay kind hearted, optimistic in today's complex world?
That's a good question. Um, Getting together with my friends and reading and um, having a, a spiritual community where we pray together. And um, I I have there's a group of us. We do um, a Friday prayer on Zoom, and then on Saturday morning, I take a class with my teacher here with a group of people, which is also on Zoom. So I read a lot of the books that I read are like spiritual books, and um, I also say and sing chants or something inside. So if I feel unrest, I've sung so many chants that now they come natural to me when I need them. Um, and I grew up Christian, and I haven't lost that part of my spirituality. But then I grew into Islam, and so and but I take different. I think what helps me the most is I'm familiar with different religions, and sometimes a song or a chant from one religion will help in a certain situation, and another song or a chant will help in another situation, how I might be feeling inside. But I also try to read books um, that touch the soul and are um, uplifting. And I read poetry. I really like poetry, and I write poetry.
Did you write any book?
No, I haven't written any. Well, just small little poetry books for my family.
Okay. How does compassion means to you on a personal level?
On a personal level, I think what I've learned about compassion is that um, when I sense that I don't feel that my own compassionate for the outer world is waning, is lacking, then I have learned, like, oh, you need to spend more time being compassionate with yourself. And that's the big thing, is that the more compassion I can be with myself, then the more I have to it comes out. So,
How how can young people be empowered to serve humanity?
hmm, I think for a young person, like, if they have a trusted friend or mentor or something, and they share their dreams, like, "I wanna do this when I grow up," or, "I what can I do?" And they talk with people who are, like, can-do people. "Yeah, you can do that," and, "How can I help you do that?" Or and also keep a journal and write your hopes and dreams down. I did that when I was young. I wrote 10 things I wanted to do in my life before I died, and I've done all 10 things.
You mean every young people must have a purpose or goal in life?
Yeah. Yeah, and to find people who will help you achieve those goals.
That's so true. I totally agree with you. What is your leadership style and how do you mentor your young leaders?
My leadership style It's more of a facilitator guide style, um, and encouraging, um, giving kids the opportunity to lead, um, and then kind of coaching them as they're leading. That's why I like that Peace Camp goes it's multi-age because the kids they're put into positions where they're leading the young kids, so it's kinda natural, and then the young kids grow older and they start to become leaders also. So it's really, more giving kids the opportunities to take leadership.
How do you stay motivated and energized at this stage of life?
Um, I think through, like I said earlier, like, prayer, my my friends, my family, my community, and,
Your spiritual journey, you told
yeah,
about that. Yes.
yeah.
What does wisdom mean to you? How it can be cultivated?
Wisdom is to me, wisdom is, something that is universal. It goes throughout time. Um, it's a piece of knowledge or, um, with a capital K that is true through the ages. And, um, accumulating wisdom is reading, um, meditating, um, sitting, looking at nature and, um, there are all those verses in the Quran that I really like that say, "It's all there for you. If only you will look, you will see." And that to me is wisdom. Like you can find I can look at a tree and have a question and look at a tree, and something in that will help evoke the answer within me. Um, so wisdom is very deep, and it's all around us, and we can find it in different ways and people as long as we bring the right heart to the situation.
What's one mistake you made in life and that taught you a valuable lesson?
Oh my gosh, I've made a lot of mistakes. Um,
Everyone can do this. Everyone. And I think lifetime, it's an ongoing process.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, it's kind of funny because now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, was that a mistake or did I learn from that? I think something that a big thing that I've had to learn is I'm a very giving person, and um, uh, I've had to learn to, um, give to myself, balance it, like, and not give everything away, and then I'm left with nothing and have to do that struggle all over again. So it's, um, maybe some of the mistakes I've made is, um, I've forgotten myself in the picture, and that has caused me, harm along the way.
What legacy do you hope to leave through Peace Camp International?
Well, I hope that uh, I don't know. I hope that it serves its purpose. You know, now with my illness, someone else is has taken the leadership of it, which is really nice, and they've kept the framework together, and they really value that framework and what Peace Camp is about. And so I feel really good about that. And as long as it's serving its purpose, um, I'll be happy with that.
What is most fulfilling moment of your life so far?
The most fulfilling moment of my life, well, probably when my kids were born. I have 2 sons, and they're, um, they're 20, almost 29 and 31 now. Um, but I still think of them as young, even though they're adults. But they've been my biggest joy and happiness.
That's so amazing. May Allah bless them with long and healthy life.
Thank you.
What is something about you that most people don't know?
Something about me that most people don't know. Hmm. I don't know. I'm a pretty open book. um, Maybe people don't know that sometimes I can feel um, really down because I think most of the time I'm upbeat and happy, and because when I see people, I'm very happy, and interact with people, I'm very happy. So maybe most people don't know that sometimes I can get down and I have to lift myself up.
May Allah always bless you with good health and long life
Thank
and a
you.
peaceful life. Is any one advice would you like to give to our audience, please?
Um, Keep smiling and see the beauty in the other and interact. What we say at Peace Camp is it's a place, a safe place where beauty can interact with beauty and light can interact with light. So um, say, be kind, be helpful, be respectful, and try to see the beauty in the other and interact with the beauty.
That's so beautiful lesson and advice. Thank you so much for your precious time.
Thank you.
Take
It's
care.
been enjoyable.
Goodbye. And
Okay.
inshallah, see you soon next time, whenever you
Okay.
have some time. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care
You too. Have a good night.
and have a great day.
Thank you. Do I have to do something?